The Minnesota Timberwolves just put up one of the most embarrassing performances that you could ever witness in an NBA playoff matchup in round two. And here's the problem. The biggest issue was not the three-point shooting, which was historically bad over the last two NBA playoff games for the Minnesota Timberwolves. In fact, they set a record in just how poorly they've shot the basketball. Today, I'm going to talk about what was most embarrassing in their loss versus the Golden State Warriors. But first, I need to tell you about 5-Star Bath Solutions of Minneapolis. 5-Star Bath Solutions of Minneapolis can remodel your bathroom, which they did for us, and give you your dream bathroom in 48 hours. We are still in shock and awe because we were imagining a 6-week-long project where we had to cram into our teeny tiny bathroom downstairs and get ready for work and school and things like that. But they remodeled our bathroom in 48 hours, and our bathroom was exactly the way we wanted it, our dream bathroom. 5-Star Bath Solutions of Minneapolis delivered. Let me tell you about our old bathroom. Because maybe you're thinking, oh, it's probably just the floor. No. Our floor was disgusting, yes. Our shower was moldy. We had a step going into the shower that was just absolutely atrocious. We had a single sink, handbars everywhere. It was outdated. It was ugly. It was embarrassing. Something we were never proud of. They came in and in 48 hours remodeled our floor, our surround, our bathtub, our sink. Now we have a double sink, our vanity. They changed everything in our bathroom and got it done in 48 hours and took care of our mold problem. So no need to outsource that. And it was done in 48 hours. Affordable payment plans, free consultations. Give them a ring. You've got nothing to lose. 5-Star Bath Solutions of Minneapolis. They're the best. All right. So what was most embarrassing about the Timberwolves' performance against the Golden State Warriors? Here's a stat. Minnesota is 12 for 46. Not 12 for 46. That would actually not be too bad. 12 for 76 on three-pointers in their last two games this postseason. That is the worst percentage in NBA playoff history over a 2-game span. That's not what's most embarrassing. But it's incredible that the Timberwolves were able to defeat the Lakers in Game 5 when they had one of the worst three-point shooting performances that a team could ever have. It wasn't the shooting. It was the effort. From the tip, the Minnesota Timberwolves were not on their A game. They were slow, they were lethargic and lackadaisical. And the Golden State Warriors, coming off of 7 games versus the young Houston Rockets athletic squad, came into Minnesota and were hungrier than the Timberwolves and wanted it more than the Timberwolves. The Golden State Warriors in the first half took the heart out of the Timberwolves and stomped on it and did whatever they wanted. They had the mentality to come into Minnesota and beat them. And Minnesota walked into Target Center with the mentality that they were just going to roll the Golden State Warriors and dominate them because they had a long series against the Houston Rockets. I don't know what was wrong with Anthony Edwards because from the get-go, he was off and he looked exhausted. And Stan Van Gundy talked about, sometimes it's a disadvantage to be off for 5 days because there's rust and you got to get back into the swing of things. But you still have practice. You still have training to prepare you for these moments. And it's not like it was a week or two, it was 5 days. You would think that a team that was off for 5 days would be juiced for that crowd. In fact, one of the worst thoughts that I had after that game was people shelled out thousands of dollars to attend this Timberwolves Warriors basketball game for the Timberwolves to no-show in game 1 of the Western Conference semifinals. That's the risk you take. Sure, you go to a game and you picture Anthony Edwards knocking down a game-winning shot and the Timberwolves putting forth effort and playing well as a team and working together. And they did the exact opposite. Defensively, they were slow. And offensively, they didn't move the ball. And Anthony Edwards, my oh my. Chris Finch said it perfectly following the game. Chris Finch on Anthony Edwards. You are the leader of the team. You have to come out and set the tone. It starts with Anthony. He struggled early, and the light went out. And you could see it. Edwards had 1 point at halftime off a free throw. 0 for 9 from the field. He finished the game 9 for 22 with 23 points and 14 rebounds, which statistically doesn't look terrible. But that was one of the worst games that I've ever witnessed Anthony Edwards play because he was not engaged offensively until a few minutes left in the fourth quarter, and the Timberwolves were down double digits trying to make a last run to tie the game. For some reason, the Timberwolves had the approach of only having urgency to win this basketball game when they were down double digits late in the fourth quarter. They tried to make a run at the end of the third quarter. The Warriors went up by like 23. The Timberwolves were down 20 going into the fourth, and they cut it to 9 after Rudy Gobert free throws. And then the Warriors scored a few points, went up back by 14, and the game was over. What's so frustrating about this loss? The three-point ball is going to come and go. You're going to make shots, you're going to miss shots, you're going to be streaky, it's going to happen. But where was the effort? Where was the mentality? Where was the tone-setting discipline? Diving for loose balls. The Warriors have tone setters on their team. Draymond Green is a tone setter. Jimmy Butler is a tone setter. These guys have tough mentalities on the basketball court. And what you saw from the Timberwolves were players that backed down from the moment. You saw players that were completely taken out of the game because the Warriors were the tougher team on Tuesday night. And we're not talking about a regular season game in the middle of January coming off a back-to-back. They had 5 days of rest, and Steph Curry didn't play a large majority of this basketball game. And in my estimation, will not be back for a few games because they listed him as out immediately. He wasn't questionable to return. He was out immediately. The game was handed to the Timberwolves on a silver platter when Steph Curry was injured. And the Timberwolves were a no-show. And that's what's so frustrating about the loss. It's not like they put up a bunch of effort and then just missed shots to win the game. The Timberwolves had no effort, and it was probably because of the shots. But really, it was all game. From the opening tip, something was wrong. Anthony Edwards was slow. Anthony Edwards could hardly hit the rim on his first few three-point attempts. Almost airballing the thing, or just straight off the backboard. Everything was just off. And there's still a lot of series to go. It's not like the series is over and doomsday in Minnesota. But to come with this effort in game 1 of round 2 to try to advance to the Western Conference Finals is just ridiculous, knowing what's at stake. And this goes back to my Anthony Edwards take that I had last week. I called Skip Bayless correct for not calling Anthony Edwards a superstar yet. And I looked like a jackass for saying that, because versus the Lakers, Anthony Edwards looked spectacular in 4 out of 5 games. But this is what I'm talking about. This is the Anthony Edwards that I cannot call a superstar yet. The dude has a plethora of superstar moments, especially against the Lakers, and probably will in game 2. But he has too many performances like game 1 versus Golden State. It's like, dude, where are you? Curry's out. Step up and take it. Where are you in this moment? Why are you not stepping up as the leader, setting the tone and playing like a superstar when your team needs it most? When Conley is 0 for 5. When Jaden McDaniels is 6 for 12, which he played pretty good. Julius Randle, 4 for 11. This was a moment where Anthony Edwards could have came in, put up 40, put the team on his back, despite his team not really showing up. And he didn't do it. And what's most likely is that if Anthony Edwards shows up early and sets the tone, his teammates are going to follow. But you saw a lot of complaining. You saw a lot of arguing. You saw a lot of hands up. You saw a lot of piss poor attitudes from the Timberwolves players in game 1. Dante DiVincenzo, 3 for 11, 7 points. Naz Reid was really the only player that showed up, 19 points. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, 0 points, 0 rebounds, 0 assists, 0 blocks, 1 steal, 1 turnover, 2 personal fouls in 14 minutes. Terrence Shannon Jr., and I want to give credit to Terrence Shannon Jr., because there is one thing that pisses me off more than anything on the Timberwolves organization. One thing that stands above the three-point shooting, and it does deal with effort. There is not a single player that gets consistent minutes on the Timberwolves roster that is willing to step up and take a charge. And by golly, it pisses me off. Terrence Shannon Jr. comes into the game, plays 2 minutes, and immediately takes a charge and forces the Golden State Warriors to commit a turnover because he was willing to risk his body. You watch the Warriors players going into the paint uncontrollably, and you just see the Timberwolves kind of sidestep them because they are afraid to risk their body and take a charge. And it's so dumb. Yes, the Timberwolves are long and lengthy, so they can block shots, and they have that ability to do so because of their body size, but they don't block every shot. Take a damn charge. The epitome of game 1. The description of game 1. I don't even know what epitome means. The Timberwolves were on the floor offensively, driving into the paint. I can't remember who it was. Steph Curry, of all people, 36-year-old superstar Steph Curry, who's been in the league forever and could easily just sidestep one, decides to risk his body and take a charge. He's 37. Took a charge. You see a Golden State Warriors player like Draymond or Jimmy Butler, and the Timberwolves are afraid. to take a charge. And that is my biggest pet peeve on this Timberwolves roster, is their unwillingness to step in and take a hit for the greater good of the team. So, what a terrible performance it was. I'm sorry to the people that spent thousands of dollars to attend game 1. Hopefully they get it figured out by game 2, because that was one of the worst performances of effort that I've ever seen in a moment this big. To go up 1-0 when Curry is out could be a big deflating thing against Golden State. They, oh, we're done. We got no chance now. And they came into Minnesota and stole it. Which is why home court advantage is overrated. Home court advantage is always overrated. Teams win on the road all the time. So, really, home court advantage was not one of my factors when I preferred to play Golden State over Houston. I thought the Timberwolves would get better matchups and the Warriors would be older. And wow, the Timberwolves did not play anything like I anticipated in game 1. They better figure it out for game 2 or they're going home. With Steph Curry in the locker room treating a hamstring strain. Wow. Anyways, thank you for watching. And remember to check out 5-Star Bath Solutions of Minneapolis. Hope everyone has a great day. And thank you for going on this podcasting journey with me.